A Sigma female does not fear the bad boy. She sees right through him. She does not fear the player. She finds him boring. But there are specific breeds of toxic men who are designed to slip past your radar. They don't attack your weaknesses. They exploit your strengths. They target your loyalty, your desire to fix things, and your incredible capacity for endurance. These men are not partners. They are parasites. And if you let them into your sanctuary, they will dismantle your empire brick by brick. Here are the 9 types of men you must identify, block, and delete from your reality immediately. Your independence is a beacon. It attracts high-value men, but it also attracts the broken, the lazy, and the manipulative who are looking for a strong host to attach themselves to. You are not looking for a savior, but you must be careful not to become a rehabilitation center for a man who refuses to grow up. Let's analyze the threat profiles. 1. The broken bird. Of all the predators lurking in the dating pool, the broken bird is the most insidious because he does not attack you with aggression. He disarms you with vulnerability. For the Sigma female, who prides herself on her competence, resourcefulness, and ability to solve complex problems, this man is not just a partner. He is a puzzle. He appeals to your deepest psychological need to optimize and improve the world around you. He enters your life not with swagger, but with a limp, emotional or financial. He presents a carefully curated narrative of victimhood. He is the misunderstood genius whom the world never gave a fair chance, the sensitive soul crushed by a series of crazy or abusive ex-girlfriends, or the talented artist held back by mere bad luck. To your analytical mind, he appears to be a diamond in the rough, a high-value asset that has simply been mismanaged. You look at him and you do not see the failure standing in front of you. You see the potential of who he could be if he just had the right support, the right strategy, and the right partner to guide him. This is the potential trap, and it is the mechanism by which he will drain you dry. You step into his life not just as a lover, but as a consultant, a therapist, and a savior. You rewrite his resume, you organize his finances, you listen to his traumas for hours, and you offer logical, actionable solutions to his problems. You invest your time, your energy, and often your money, believing that your investment will yield a return in the form of a healed, high-value partner. But here is the brutal truth that the Sigma woman often learns too late. The broken bird does not want to fly. He wants to be carried. His brokenness is not a temporary state of emergency. It is his permanent identity. It is his survival strategy. As long as he is the victim, he is absolved of all responsibility. If he fails, it is because of his trauma. If he cheats, it is because he is damaged. If he cannot hold a job, it is because the world is too harsh for his sensitive spirit. He feeds on your empathy like a parasite feeds on blood. Every time you offer a solution, he will find a new excuse, a yes, but that keeps him stuck in the same place. He is addicted to the comfort of your care, but he is allergic to the effort of his own evolution. You will find yourself caught in a toxic cycle of the sunk cost fallacy, thinking, I have already put so much work into him, I can't leave now. He is almost there. He is never almost there. He is exactly where he wants to be, safe in the nest you built, consuming your resources while you exhaust yourself, fighting battles he refuses to fight. You must realize that you cannot love a man into his potential. You cannot fix a man who loves his own wounds more than he loves his future. The broken bird will not heal. He will simply infect you with his lethargy until you are the one who is broken, depleted, and wondering where your empire went. Cut him loose, because you are looking for a king, not a patient. 2. The hobosexual. There exists a specific breed of predator who targets the Sigma female not for her heart, not for her mind, but for the square footage of her apartment and the stability of her bank account. This is the hobosexual, a man who dates you primarily to secure a place to live. The Sigma woman is a prime target for this archetype precisely because she is self-made, financially sovereign, and typically lives in a sanctuary she has curated with her own hard-earned money. You do not need a man to provide for you, and because you value connection over currency, You often overlook a man's financial standing in the early stages of dating. You think you are being open-minded. The hobosexual knows you are being an easy mark. He does not present himself as a homeless bum. He is far too sophisticated for that. He disguises his parasitic nature behind the mask of a free spirit, a struggling artist, or an entrepreneur who is perpetually in transition between big projects. He romanticizes his lack of assets, framing his poverty as a spiritual choice or a rejection of the capitalist grind, knowing that this will appeal to your nonconformist Sigma nature. The danger of the hobosexual lies in the speed of his infiltration. He moves with the urgency of someone whose lease is expiring. The relationship will accelerate at a dizzying pace, often skipped past the casual dating phase directly into domesticity. It starts small. He leaves a toothbrush at your place, then a change of clothes, then his gaming console. Before you know it, he is spending 7 nights a week in your bed because his own living situation is toxic, under construction, or conveniently vague. He pays his rent in vibes. He will be hyper-attentive in the beginning, cooking dinner, walking the dog, and providing intense sexual chemistry, using domestic performance as a currency to offset his lack of financial contribution. He makes himself comfortable in the empire you built, drinking your wine, using your high-speed internet, and lounging on your furniture while you are out working to maintain the lifestyle he's enjoying for free. He exploits your independence by praising it constantly. He tells you, "I love that you don't need a man to take care of you," which is actually code for, "I love that I don't have to take care of you." Over time, the charm wears off, and the reality sets in. You have adopted an adult dependent. The Sigma female eventually realizes that she is not in a partnership. She is in a host-parasite relationship. The resentment begins to rot the connection from the inside out. You realize that while you are exhausted from carrying the weight of the world, he is resting in the safety of your achievements. He has no urgency to improve his situation because he has already reached the finish line, you. He views your success as a shared resource that he is entitled to simply by virtue of being your boyfriend. You must understand that financial compatibility is not shallow, it is a safety requirement. A man who is comfortable letting a woman subsidize his existence has surrendered his dignity. You worked too hard to build your castle to let a squatter occupy the throne. Evict him, change the locks, and never let a man move in until he has the keys to his own kingdom. Pause for a second. We have all met this guy, the one who is always between apartments or just about to close a big deal while eating your food. I want to know, have you ever had to evict a financial parasite from your life? Type "evicted" in the comments below. Let's see how many of us have cleared our space. Now, while the hobosexual drains your bank account, this next type tries to drain your confidence. 3. The pseudo-intellectual. For the Sigma female, the mind is the most erogenous zone. You are naturally repelled by small talk, superficiality, and men whose conversation revolves entirely around sports scores or the weather. You crave depth, you crave debate, and you crave a partner who can meet you in the arena of ideas and sharpen your intellect. This specific hunger makes you vulnerable to the pseudo-intellectual. This predator knows that the way to your heart is through your brain, so he constructs a facade of deep thought and worldly wisdom to lure you in. He baits the hook with name-dropping philosophers he has never actually read, quoting obscure movies he doesn't understand, and adopting a contrarian worldview that mistakes cynicism for intelligence. In the beginning, he seems fascinating. He challenges you. He seems to be the equal you have been searching for in a sea of mediocrity. But as the relationship progresses, the cracks in his intellectual armor begin to show, and you realize that his depth is a wading pool, not an ocean. He uses language not to communicate, but to dominate. He treats every conversation as a lecture, where he is the professor and you are the student, regardless of your own expertise. The toxicity of the pseudo-intellectual lies in his profound insecurity regarding your intelligence. While he claims to want a smart woman, the reality of your sharp, analytical Sigma mind terrifies him. He realizes very quickly that you are not just nodding along to his monologues, you are fact-checking him. You are spotting the logical fallacies in his arguments. This triggers a defensive arrogance within him. He will begin to mansplain concepts to you that you already understand better than he does, simply to re-establish his position of authority. He will play devil's advocate on issues that are deeply personal or morally clear-cut to you, not because he has a valid counterpoint, but because he needs to destabilize your certainty to feel powerful. He is an intellectual vampire who feeds on your frustration. You will find yourself exhausted by circular arguments that go nowhere, trapped in word salads designed to confuse rather than clarify. He will gaslight you into thinking you are emotional or illogical whenever you corner him with a fact he cannot refute. The tragedy of this dynamic is that the Sigma female often dims her own light to keep the peace. You start holding back your true thoughts, you stop correcting his errors, and you nod along to his pretension just to avoid a 3-hour debate about semantics. You slowly suffocate your own genius to protect his fragile ego. But you must realize that true intelligence is humble. It is curious, flexible, and open to being wrong. The pseudo-intellectual lacks all of these traits. He is a midwit masquerading as a sage, a man who has memorized the menu but has never tasted the food. He ruins your life by turning your greatest sanctuary, your mind, into a battlefield where you are constantly under siege. You do not need a man who competes with your intellect. You need a man who celebrates it. A partner who needs you to be smaller so he can feel big is not a match. He is a mistake. Walk away and leave him to debate his own reflection. You have real truths to uncover. 4. The competitor. The Sigma female is naturally drawn to ambition. You are a high achiever, a builder, and a woman who demands excellence from herself, so it is only logical that you would seek a partner who mirrors that drive. You desire the archetype of the power couple, two sovereigns ruling side by side, sharpening each other like iron sharpens iron. However, this desire often leads you straight into the arms of the competitor, a man who disguises his deep-seated insecurity as high-performance ambition. The competitor does not view you as a teammate, he views you as a rival. To him, life is a zero-sum game where there is only a finite amount of glory available, and every time you take a piece, he feels that you have stolen it from his plate. He cannot celebrate your wins because, in the twisted calculus of his fragile ego, your success is essentially a mirror reflecting his own perceived failures. You will notice this toxic dynamic in the quiet, suffocating moments that follow your greatest achievements. You come home glowing with the news of a promotion, a massive business breakthrough, or a creative triumph, and instead of meeting you with genuine pride, he meets you with a lukewarm, "That's cool," followed immediately by a sharp pivot to his own day, or worse, a subtle critique designed to deflate your joy. He cannot stand to let you have the spotlight for even 5 minutes without jumping on stage to remind the audience that he exists too. This man will often frame his behavior as healthy competition, but do not be fooled. There is nothing healthy about a partner who needs to defeat you to feel like a man. He will turn everything into a contest. Who earns more money? Who works harder? Who is more tired? Who has the better taste in music? If you share a story about a struggle you overcame, he will immediately interrupt with a story about a bigger struggle he overcame. He is a one-upper who pathologically needs to be the smartest and most dominant person in the room, and the fact that the person in the room is the woman he claims to love does not stop him. The tragedy for the Sigma female is that you will slowly begin to dim your own light to protect his feelings. You will find yourself celebrating your victories in silence, in your car, or with your friends, hiding your accomplishments from him to avoid the inevitable sulking or passive-aggressive comments. You start to apologize for your own greatness. You shrink yourself to fit into the small space where his ego feels safe. But you must understand that a relationship is not an arena. You are not supposed to be sparring with the person who holds your heart. A true king does not feel threatened by a queen. He realizes that her power increases the value of the entire kingdom. If he sees your rising star as a threat to his dominance rather than a light that guides you both forward, he is not your partner. He is your opponent, and you need to leave the game before he convinces you that losing is the only way to love him. 5. The chameleon. For the Sigma female, the search for a partner is often a lonely and exhausting journey because you are a statistical anomaly. You possess a unique blend of independence, intellect, and intensity that most men find intimidating or confusing. You walk through the world feeling like an outsider, speaking a language that very few can translate. This deep-seated sense of alienation is exactly what makes you vulnerable to the chameleon. This type of toxic male is a shapeshifter who lacks a core identity of his own, so he survives by mimicking the personality of whoever he is trying to seduce. When he meets you, he does not just date you, he studies you. He observes your micro-expressions, he notes your obscure interests, and he listens to your controversial opinions without flinching. Then, he activates the mirroring technique. Suddenly, he loves the same dark literature you love. He shares your exact political views. He has the same dietary restrictions, the same introverted energy, and the same life goals. He creates a custom-built persona designed to fit perfectly into the empty space in your heart. You think you have finally found your twin flame or your soulmate. You think, finally, someone who understands me. But the devastating secret is that he doesn't understand you. He is simply copying you. The danger of the chameleon is that his deception is total. You are not falling in love with a person. You are falling in love with a reflection of yourself that he is projecting back at you. He is data mining your psyche to bypass your defenses. Because Sigmas value authentic connection above all else, this betrayal cuts the deepest. You open up your fortress to him, sharing your vulnerabilities and your dreams, believing you are safe with a kindred spirit. But the chameleon cannot sustain the act forever. Mirroring requires an immense amount of energy, and eventually the mask will slip. One day you will wake up and notice that he has changed. Suddenly, he hates the music he claimed to love. He contradicts the values he swore by 3 months ago. He becomes distant, irritable, or morphs into a completely different personality, usually the personality of his newest target or his toxic friends. The man you loved never existed. He was a hollow shell, a void that filled itself with your colors to lure you in. When the illusion shatters, you are left with the crushing realization that the intimacy was a lie. He didn't connect with you, he defrauded you. To protect your life from the chameleon, you must learn to trust friction. A real man will have his own opinions, his own tastes, and his own boundaries, and they will not always align perfectly with yours. If a man agrees with everything you say, if he has no hobbies that didn't start the day he met you, and if he feels too perfect to be true, he is not a soulmate. He is a simulation. You need a partner with a spine, not a mirror. Let's stop here. The chameleon is dangerous because he makes you doubt your own judgment. If you are tired of men wearing masks, and you are ready to surround yourself with people who value the brutal truth, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We don't deal in fake personalities here. Now, let's talk about the man who steals the one resource you can never, ever earn back. 6. The time waster. For the Sigma female, time is not merely a measurement of hours. It is the most precious, non-renewable currency in her vault. You operate with purpose, efficiency, and a long-term vision for your empire, which makes the time waster a thief of the highest order. This toxic archetype is dangerous because he does not attack you with cruelty. He attacks you with ambiguity. He is the architect of the situationship, a relational purgatory where you are treated like a girlfriend in private but kept as a secret in public. He excels at the art of breadcrumbing, throwing you just enough scraps of affection, deep conversation, or future faking to keep you starving for more, but never offering the full meal of commitment. He tells you he doesn't like labels, that he is going with the flow, or that he is focusing on himself right now, yet he continues to consume your weekends, your emotional labor, and your body. He wants the intimacy of a wife with the freedom of a bachelor. He wants to park his car in your driveway to prevent anyone else from parking there, but he refuses to come inside the house and sign the lease. For the analytical Sigma mind, this lack of clarity is psychological torture. You are a pattern recognizer. When a man sends mixed signals, hot one day, cold the next, you do not simply walk away. You try to solve the equation. You waste gigabytes of your mental RAM analyzing his texts, dissecting his behavior with your friends, and trying to find the logical reason why he won't commit. You convince yourself that he is complicated or wounded, and that if you just wait long enough or prove your loyalty hard enough, the logic will click into place. But the brutal truth he hides from you is that there is no complex equation to solve. He is not confused. He is comfortable. He knows exactly what he is doing. He is keeping you in orbit as a backup plan, an option A until something he perceives as better comes along, or simply using you to fill the void of his own loneliness. This dynamic ruins your life not by breaking your heart, but by wasting your potential. Every hour you spend decoding his silence is an hour you are not building your business, creating your art, or finding a man who actually deserves you. The opportunity cost of a time waster is incalculable. You must understand that in the language of high-value men, clarity is kindness. If a man wants you, he claims you. He defines the relationship because he is terrified that if he leaves you on the market for one more day, another man will see your value and snap you up. Ambiguity is not a sign of depth. It is a sign of disinterest. If you have to ask, "Where is this going?" you are already lost. Do not let a man hold your future hostage with the word maybe. Treat his hesitation as a hard no. Reclaim your time, cut the cord and exit the waiting room, because a queen does not sit around hoping to be chosen. She rules her own kingdom until a king arrives who is ready to rule beside her. 7. The gaslighter. Your greatest weapon as a Sigma female is your mind. Your razor-sharp ability to observe patterns, detect inconsistencies, and deduce the truth from a pile of lies. You pride yourself on your logic, your memory, and your grounded perception of reality. The gaslighter knows this, and he knows that to control a woman as powerful as you, he cannot simply beat you in an argument. He must dismantle the very operating system you use to process the world. He is the reality distorter. This toxic archetype does not attack your heart directly. He attacks your sanity. He operates by systematically denying facts that you know to be true, rewriting history in real time until you begin to question your own cognitive faculties. When you confront him about a hurtful comment he made 5 minutes ago, he will look you dead in the eye with terrifying calmness and say, "I never said that," or "You are imagining things." When you catch him in a betrayal, he will not apologize. He will pivot and accuse you of being paranoid, insecure, or crazy, effectively putting you on trial for your reaction to his abuse. The gaslighter is particularly dangerous to the Sigma female because you are a rational, analytical thinker. You operate under the assumption that facts are immutable and that truth is objective. When someone confidently states a lie as a fact, your brain attempts to reconcile the discrepancy. You think, "Maybe I did mishear him," or "Maybe I am being too sensitive." You start to self-audit. You replay conversations in your head, looking for the error in your code. This is exactly where he wants you. He exploits your desire for fairness and accuracy to keep you trapped in a maze of doubt. He projects his own instability onto you. If he is cheating, he accuses you of flirting. If he is lying, he accuses you of being untrustworthy. He creates a fog of confusion where up is down and black is white, and in that fog, he becomes the only reliable navigator. You become dependent on his version of reality because you no longer trust your own. The ultimate sign that you are dealing with a reality distorter is the exhaustion of trying to prove you exist. You might find yourself taking screenshots of texts, recording conversations, or keeping a journal just to have evidence that you aren't losing your mind. The moment you feel the need to collect evidence to prove to your partner that an event occurred, the relationship is already dead. You must understand that he is not misunderstanding you. He is erasing you. He is trying to delete your intuition so he can install his control. The Sigma female must realize that her gut instinct is a biological warning system that does not lie. If you feel something is wrong, it is wrong. You do not need his confession to validate your truth. Do not engage in his debates about what is real. Do not let him hold the pen that writes your history. Trust your memory, trust your logic, and cut the connection before he convinces you that the cage he built is actually a castle. 8. The man-child. There is a seductive but lethal trap that waits for the competent woman, disguised as a harmless, slightly bumbling partner who just needs a little help getting his life together. This is the man-child, an archetype defined not by malice, but by a refusal to launch into full adulthood. He is looking for a mother to manage his existence, not a queen to share his reign. The Sigma female is uniquely susceptible to this predator because you are a natural executive. You are efficient, organized, and you possess a low tolerance for chaos. When you see a problem, your instinct is to fix it immediately. The man-child exploits this competence using a psychological tactic known as weaponized incompetence. This is a calculated performance of helplessness where he pretends to be incapable of performing basic adult tasks, cooking a meal, booking a doctor's appointment, sorting the laundry, or remembering his own mother's birthday, knowing that if he does a poor enough job or acts confused enough, you will eventually sigh, push him aside and say, "Move over, I'll do it myself." This is exactly what he wants. He is not stupid, he is lazy. He is perfectly capable of memorizing complex stats for his fantasy football league or mastering the intricate mechanics of a video game, yet he miraculously forgets how to load a dishwasher the moment you ask for help. The danger of the man-child is that he slowly transforms you from his lover into his project manager. You begin to carry the entire mental load of the relationship. You become the keeper of the schedule, the finder of lost keys, and the reminder of deadlines. This dynamic is a silent killer of attraction. It is psychologically impossible to maintain sexual polarity with a man you have to raise. You cannot look up to a man you are constantly looking after. The resentment builds in layers. You feel alone in the partnership, burdened by the weight of dragging another adult through life, while he relaxes in the safety of the structure you provide. He gets the benefits of a domestic partnership without the cost of accountability. He ruins your life by anchoring you to the mundane details of survival, preventing you from flying toward your higher purpose because you are too busy tying his shoes. The Sigma female must realize that competence is not a gendered trait. It is a life skill. A man who claims he doesn't know how to be an adult is lying to you. He knows how, he just prefers that you do it. You must refuse to enable his regression. Do not pick up the slack. Let him fail. Let him miss the appointment. Let him run out of clean clothes. If he wanted to be treated like a king, he would act like a ruler, not a dependent. You are looking for a partner who brings something to the table, not a child who needs you to cut his food for him. 9. The isolationist. The final and perhaps most suffocating threat to the Sigma female is the isolationist. This predator is dangerous because he disguises his toxicity as the highest form of romantic devotion. In the beginning, he does not look like a jailer. He looks like a man who is head over heels in love. He wants to be with you every second of every day. He texts you constantly. He wants to know where you are, who you are with, and when you are coming home, framing these interrogations as concern for your safety or an uncontrollable desire for your presence. For the Sigma woman, who often prefers a small, tight-knit circle and enjoys deep, one-on-one connection, this intensity can initially feel flattering. You might mistake his possessiveness for passion. You might think, "Finally, a man who values me enough to want me all to himself." He whispers the seductive mantra of us against the world, a narrative that appeals to your natural sense of independence and non-conformity. But you must understand that when he says us against the world, he is actually declaring war on your support system. He is building a silo, not a sanctuary. The isolationist operates by slowly surgical removal of your external connections. It begins with subtle critiques of your friends. "Sarah is so dramatic, she just brings you down," or "I don't think your family really supports our relationship like I do." He plants seeds of doubt about the people who love you, painting himself as the only person who truly understands your depth. Slowly, you stop seeing your friends to avoid his sulking. You stop visiting your family to avoid the arguments. You quit your hobbies because he makes you feel guilty for spending time away from him. He is systematically cutting the power lines to your life until he is your only source of energy, validation, and reality. He wants to be your entire world, because if he is your only mirror, he controls your reflection. If you have no friends to bounce ideas off of, no family to warn you that you look unhappy, and no career to give you financial autonomy, you become completely dependent on his narrative. He is removing the witnesses to his control. For a Sigma female, whose spirit is defined by freedom and autonomy, this is a spiritual death sentence. You are a wild creature who needs solitude to recharge and freedom to roam intellectually and creatively. The isolationist seeks to domesticate you, to clip your wings under the guise of protecting you. He checks your phone, he tracks your location, and he demands passwords, calling it transparency. It is not transparency, it is surveillance. You must recognize that healthy love expands your world. It does not shrink it. A high-value man wants you to have a thriving community, a successful career, and a life outside of him because he is secure in his position. He knows that you choose him freely, not because you are trapped. If you feel your world getting smaller, if you feel like you have to ask for permission to live your own life, you are not in a relationship, you are in captivity. Break the lock, reconnect with your allies, and run before the cage door shuts forever. Your freedom is non-negotiable. The landscape we have traversed today is not merely a list of bad dates. It is a topography of survival. You must understand that the world is teeming with men who are spiritually hungry, men who look at your vitality, your stability, and your fierce independence not as qualities to admire, but as resources to consume. They want to consume your light because they possess no generator of their own. They are wandering in the dark, seeking a host to attach to, hoping that your fire is bright enough to warm their cold hands and your foundation strong enough to hold up their collapsing lives. As a Sigma female, you are a high-value target precisely because you are built to endure. You are the architect of your own reality, and that makes you a lighthouse in a storm. But you must remember that a lighthouse is designed to guide ships, not to let them crash into its walls and crumble its stone. You are a beacon, not a shelter for the shipwrecked. This distinction is the difference between a partnership and a parasitism. Your gatekeeping must be ruthless. This is not cruelty, it is sanitation. You cannot build an empire if you are constantly stopping to rehabilitate the invaders at your gates. Society will try to shame you for this. They will tell you that you are too picky, too cold, or too demanding. They will tell you that you should give him a chance, or that nobody is perfect. You must reject these lies with absolute conviction. Do not apologize for your standards. Your standards are the walls that protect your peace. Every time you lower a standard to accommodate a fragile ego or a lazy spirit, you are removing a brick from your own fortress. You are allowing chaos to enter a sanctuary that took you a lifetime to consecrate. You must become comfortable with the word no. No to the man who drains your energy. No to the man who disrespects your time. No to the man who needs a mother instead of a lover. This refusal is your sword. Wield it without guilt. It is infinitely better to walk alone in the dark, guided only by your own intuition, than to walk with a man who blocks your view of the stars. Solitude is not a sentence, it is a superpower. In solitude, you are sovereign. In solitude, your resources are your own. In solitude, you can hear your own thoughts without the static of his insecurity drowning them out. Do not fear the empty space beside you. Fear the wrong person filling it. The right man, the king who is worthy of the empire you are building, will not require you to diminish yourself. He will not ask for your light. He will bring his own, and together you will burn brighter. Until he arrives, you walk forward. You leave the shadows of the broken bird, the gaslighter, and the competitor behind you. You step into the clear, blinding light of your own potential. You are the CEO of your existence, and there are no vacancies for toxic applicants. Identify them, block them, Delete them from your narrative and keep building, because the view from the top is only for those who refuse to carry dead weight up the mountain. If you have ever survived one of these 9 types of men, tell us which one in the comments below. Your story might save another sister from the same trap. And if you are ready to build a life that no toxic man can touch, make sure you are subscribed and the notification bell is on. We are building empires here, not orphanages. Stay sharp, stay Sigma,